I'm going to show you the fastest way to make an image black and white here in Photoshop. Got an image layer down here. I'm going to add an adjustment layer. That's up in Window, down to Adjustments. Once you see that panel open, see this little guy right here? Looks like a black and white box. Click on it. That's a black and white adjustment layer. Everything below it now turns black and white. And in my Properties panel, I actually have some adjustments here I could make. So I could tell the yellows to be brighter or darker. Same thing with any of these colors. The reds, the greens, I could press this auto button. I could just use this hand icon and say, oh, the background color, which it then grabs the yellows, or I could move over here and it's probably gonna grab some of the reds, and I can make adjustments just like that. But if you have multiple things in your document, you might want to attach this black and white adjustment layer to just a single image. To do that, we hold Option or Alt and we hover over between these two to create a clipping mask. That clipping mask, designated by this tiny little arrow right here, basically says this black and white adjustment layer will only turn things black and white that are directly below it, which in this case is this image. If I had another image down here, it does not affect this one. So if I grab this image here, move it over, you'll notice we have two here. This one's black and white that I moved to the left because the black and white adjustment layer clips to it, but the one underneath is not because there's no black and white adjustment layer. If I want to turn off that clipping mask, hold Option or Alt and undo it between those two, and it turns everything below it into black and white. So if you just had a single image, really easy, you just add that adjustment layer. If you have multiple images and want to add it to just a single image, use a clipping mask to just apply that black and white adjustment to a single image or layer directly underneath it. Now you might have noticed other adjustment layers here, like levels, brightness and contrast, curves. You can actually double up on these. So I could do brightness and contrast. And if it's not clipped, you could use that same clipping mask method with the Alt or Option to clip it to this underneath. Even if it's on top here, like this, we could just clip it and basically everything cascades down into the layer that's below. But with brightness and contrast, we could up the contrast of our black and white image. We could lower the brightness or raise the brightness, obviously way overexposed now. But you can use these other adjustment layers to make adjustments. Because sometimes when you turn just a basic photo into black and white, you could really pump up the contrast in it because photos are made up of a lot more gray tone than we realize when we can see the color. But when we can't see the color, we might need a little bit more contrast there. All right, that's how you turn an image black and white really quickly here in Photoshop.